Welcome to a new episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Last time we had the formation of the beige team that's working together with lavender for the most part right now. We also had some tension between orange and brown, and lime is helping them. So now that we have troops from lime lining up in the magenta team that are going to try to get these 3 or maybe even 4 settlements, orange is going to infiltrate their original territory and they want to get most of it back, at least, well, a great portion again. Brown did not see this coming at all, and they are still like such egoistic people that they just think, oh, we can handle orange. They cannot even try to do something, but oh boy, they are gonna do it right now. Right here at the border of magenta with brown, lime troops are going to infiltrate the territory, and they are pretty quick. The operation is really surprising for everyone that's living here in the brown country. And yes, I am labeling this as lime troops, as lime territory, not as magenta, because do note, magenta is not fighting in this war, so to speak, because they are in the Shield Pact, and if the Shield Pact attacks a Southern Pact, then we have a third Great War, and we don't want that. At least nobody wants that. Orange didn't want that as well, so that's why a line is infiltrating. They also get another front right here, close to another settlement, and the third is right here. These two fronts are connected fairly quickly, so they can defend this area quite a bit. And after brown is realizing that they are getting attacked by the lime eventually, they are getting the notice that that's happening, that's not magenta, so they leave magenta out of this for now, because brown has a question like, why does magenta even let this happen at our border? We have no major settlements right here with orange, so it's pretty hard to defend themselves, if you want to say it like that, but they finally infiltrate their original territory again after so long of being a puppet state, and a few fronts are happening, and one pretty close to this settlement, and if they get this one, they can maybe close off again the territory with mainland brown. There's also a front up here, and it's pretty quick. Brown is getting attacked by small forces, but they don't know what to do as of now. They want to get help from the other members of Southern Pact, but then we have a problem. Dark Red is like, it's your problem, Brown. You infiltrated Orange all those years ago. You made a puppet state out of it. You have to handle it on your own. They are in our own alliance as well. You have to handle it. And Dark Blue is completely not paying attention to it, because let's say Dark Blue is not so really good friends with Dark Brown, well, Brown, but they are with Dark Red. At least that's how it ended up in the Second Great War. So no one is able to help Brown. Gold, of course, stepped down from the Southern Pact, so we don't have help from there. And they are not going to infiltrate Orange because Gold is getting along with Orange a little bit. After a long time, they secure this front, and Brown, well, is kicked out of this part. So they are like not connected with mainland anymore. And they also have this settlement in their hands right now. And they kill all the troops that are left right here. Not many, of course. And the front keeps getting bigger. But also, Lime gets its second settlement. And their front is getting bigger and bigger. They don't have much troops left. They still want to have some left in their country before suddenly green or cyan attack with the Shield Pact. But Lime is going through, and they want to get this third settlement right here in the area. The front is getting thicker and thicker and wider, and even another small group appears right here. And now, finally, after a long time, Brown is attacking back. That took a while, but yeah, they were busy and they were so surprised. They first want to get rid of Orange. They sort of knew Orange is getting stronger, but we want to hold them back as much as possible. They quickly get this whole front up and running for them, and also this one down below, and they're going south to get in a war with the Lime team for the first time ever, directly. They also are trying to get this settlement back, and the other one from getting further invaded. This one is hard to get, they realized. They are trying, but it's hard. And now the dark red and also dark blue is seeing this. They're like, brown is in another war again. They took some land from the red all those years ago, from the magenta, now from the orange, and now they are getting attacked again by their puppet state. So dark red and dark blue are going to negotiate with each other without brown knowing. They want to talk with each other about this third member. Brown luckily gets a few Lime troops killed, and also they are stopping this front from further invading. But the front widens up and they kill all the brown troops right here in this settlement. And Lime is really strong. But they notice that they are not really fighting with that many people. And they also see that not everyone is from the Lime country. There are also some people fighting still with the Dark Cyan name, so to speak. Because this is a part with not many troops or military, so to speak. Orange is getting a hand and a great portion of their land back here in Denmark. Well, still in Germany, I think. And they secure a great portion of their land. And they're not holding back. And after a while, they got a great portion back. And Brown is not so happy with that. They try to intervene. They are quickly wiped off the map again. But now that Orange has this part of Brown, they are going to push further to the west to get these 4 settlements back. Their main 4 from the beginning of their origin. To have a little pause, to have a little break, let's see what Beige will do at this point. They are good friends with Lavender, and Lavender knows this as well, so they are trying to be more friendly to each other. Lavender expands their lands with a great portion. They are now bordering Beige fully. And although Lavender is getting still in a rough situation with Mint and Purple without them knowing, Purple is still waiting to do something. They are waiting for Dark Blue to strike, but Dark Blue is now not striking the Lavender country because they are busy with Dark Red to speak about Brown. This situation is, so to speak, paused. The world lets this slide for a bit. Dark Green is curious what's happened with their people that went to Lavender, but yeah, they cannot really do anything else. And they sort of are angry at their own people that left them and quote-unquote joined the Lavender team, that they want some more support. And after the negotiation with Dark Red and Dark Blue ended, Dark Green goes to Dark Orange and says, I want to join the Southern Pact. And that happens. Dark Green is allowed to join the Southern Pact. And the other two countries here in the north allowed that because they helped to sort of spy on the Lavender team, but those people just failed, but they know directly their fault. These 2 countries, Dark Orange and Dark Green, ask towards Dark Yellow if they want to join the Southern Pact as well, but they don't want to. They want to stay on their own, they want to grow, they don't want to do anything with the North. Ironic, because we call it the Southern Pact, but you get what I mean. And now we have Lime pushing more and more through Dark Brown. And now we have Lime getting through more territory of Brown, and they are able to get the whole settlement back, the whole front for themselves. And now Brown is scared. They are getting attacked by a country thought that was long gone. And they are losing. They don't know how. Their tactics are just too weak. Dark Red and Dark Blue are still not helping Brown. And the front with Orange is getting larger as well. They also get some parts back from the Brown team. And they're getting further and further to their original land. Now many people in villages like here in the Orange country are stepping up to fight with the army of Orange to fight back against the brown team to get their land back. This front is getting secure by the brown team. Orange cannot really get further up north, but they are mostly focused on the 4 major settlements here in the west. And oh boy, they are getting closer and closer. Brown tries to intervene, but they are just weak compared to these people. They now just realize that the people that lived here are getting rebelled. They were preparing for something like this. And now that the people inside these 4 settlements are seeing that their country that they originated from, that they were living in, well, their ancestors all those years ago, they see an opportunity. And you can maybe guess what's going to happen. People from inside the brown team are getting furious and are fighting against brown inside the country itself, without a front next to a border of orange. And they are quickly to get the most southern settlement for in the name of orange. Orange eventually gets the notes of this and want to connect this front with the settlement to get closer to the sea and to just break this whole front apart to get their Netherlands back. They are trying. But brown is furious. They want to hold this settlement at least. The most southern is their most valuable. Not the capital, that was, I think, right here. This one, the most northern one. And there it's getting bigger and bigger. And the front is getting much bigger and bigger. It's getting out of hand. And orange is much stronger than they thought. Much more people are rebelling against brown. And brown just knows now we cannot hold them back. So brown wants to negotiate with the king of orange. That's a king that's ruling under the name of brown. But the secret, he was still for the orange team. The brown team made a big mistake by not selecting a brown member to be a king of orange. They didn't. And that's a big mistake, because maybe if they did, this wouldn't happen at all. The front with lime is also expanding, and then brown surrenders. They let these fronts know that they don't want to fight anymore, and they just want to get out of this war. It was quick and dirty, and let's see which peace treaty will come out of it with orange. They will look and talk about lime a little bit later, so let's see what will happen right here. After such a long time, orange is released and brown is not ruling over orange anymore. Orange got their 5 settlements back, these 4 here and this northern one here as well. They rebelled enough to get what they wanted. They got it back and they are not a puppet state anymore longer. And of course they stepped down from the Southern Pact and they joined back with the Shield Pact. And these countries are happy that they got orange back full up and running. They are glad that that eventually happened. And the capital of orange moves back up north to that most northern settlement here with these 4, where it always was in the very beginning of their existence. But now a peace treaty needed to be here with lime. And this one will be formed over a long period of time, because eventually the king of lime, together with the king of dark cyan, yeah, they still exist, but this country is ruled by the lime king. So this is actually the first country with 2 kings. So now the lime king and the dark cyan king that was still sort of there went to the brown king and asked, well, almost they demanded this area to be theirs. Lime wanted to get this part of brown. They wanted to give up this little part, that was still a front, so they were really quickly at that. Brown was able to get that back. But lime, so to speak, wanted to do something else about this. Because they got the territory of dark cyan, they were not happy to be so far away from red. Lime wanted to move again for the 2nd time ever. Dark cyan wants to get released again. Lime wants to set them free and move here, in between brown and magenta, and then they are closer to their rivals, especially red. They are getting closer and closer. Brown is getting ahead of this. They know what Lime is up to. So they say no, we don't want you to live there. But what if Dark Cyan will? Dark Cyan says no, we want to live where we sort of are living since the beginning. So it's rough. Who owns this part of the world now? Brown wants it, but Lime and Dark Cyan are both like, no, you don't get it. But, well, Lime wants to get it, but you don't want Lime to get it. So they're not getting it on agreement with this. Then, out of nowhere, Magenta steps up and says, well, what if I get the land? Because Brown, you did me dirty back in the war. Can I get it? And after negotiating with the Shield Pact, Brown said, well, okay, you will get the land, Magenta, but use it well. Magenta was able to get the land. And Lime and Dark Cyan were both not angry about that. They supported it more than if Brown would get it back. But Lime really wanted to stay here and set things up to go further south. Their plan sort of worked. They helped Orange. They don't really cared about that. They cared about themselves. But, well, now they maybe can live there with a few Lime civilians. Yeah, that was rough for the Brown team. Inside the Brown team, something also just did not fall on the place they wanted it to be. The king was devastated. They lost land to Orange. They lost land to Lime and eventually Magenta. And they were left alone by the Southern Pact. And they now realized that they have a new member, Dark Green. They were furious. Why didn't no one help us? And after negotiating with some higher-ups that the king trusted, they came to the realization that they wanted to step down from the Southern Pact. Brown left it. They didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And Brown was sort of getting sick of the Southern Pact people that were still there. Brown was sad when Gold left the Southern Pact. And Brown was also sort of sad when Grey and Gold were not getting along with each other that much anymore. Now they do, so Brown wants to get back where it all started with. Brown got funded, remember, all the way back when Orange and Red were here on Ireland by these two major countries. That slowly faded away because of the Second Great War. Now we have these three back in free hands. They are no longer in a alliance. And now that a major threat left the Southern Pact, the Shield Pact was like, do we still need to exist? We know we will still help each other if something will get south. Not a pun intended. But they quickly came to the realization that the Shield Pact was going to disappear. It had done enough. The Shield Pact left the world. But the Southern Pact was still alive. Dark Blue and Dark Red were strong about it. They were really clear about it. They don't want to leave the Southern Pact. And especially the new countries here in Africa don't want to leave it either. Because what if Beige suddenly is at our doorsteps? We don't have any defense. These two countries, Dark Orange and Dark Green, were scared of an invasion by Beige or even Lavender. Unlikely to happen, maybe. The world has died down a bit in tension. Gold and Grey are back together as reasonable friends. These two countries that were found after all these were already established are friends with each other. And now that there were no alliances anymore, people could just focus on something else without maybe look out for each other. But Lime was still not done yet. But let's take a look at Lavender and Beige. Because Beige found another lake here in the south. And they were quickly, because they wanted to capture the land, to use it. They told to the Lavender Society, well, we have found another lake. Maybe you want to have the other side of it. And they were almost like two best friends, helping each other find new land and grow with each other. Also, Lavender went to the other side of this lake, but still left some parts left for Beige. Quickly, the king of Beige went to the leader of this part of Lavender to speak. And they brought them up to speed what happened. After talking long enough, Lavenders realized that the world really was much bigger than they thought. They did not knew about these countries here. Brown, gold, grey, dark pink were off their radar. Of course, the Southern Pack knows about knows about every country that exists up north. And Lavender, the governor that's leading this place, quickly got this information to the mainland of Lavender, and they wanted to use it to strategize about how they could invade this world if they want to, or defend themselves if the world invades their territory. Lavender quickly grew again, and even more base as well, and got all this here in the south. No major new settlements popped up yet. We also still have a little conflict here with Purple and Neon Lime. Divided border, divided people. They want to unite with their origin again, but they couldn't. Both sides don't let them do that, or even knows about the other side having the same problem. And because of all that, people were sick of being not united with their part of the world. They rebelled. A part of Neon Lime just took a part of Purple. There were people that were rebelling, that were angry, that wanted to be a part of Neon Lime. But the same happened with Purple as well. So what would they do? Purple and Neon Lime were scared that they maybe will evolve this into a war. So they quickly came together and said, what do we have to do? What happened? What did we do? They wanted to unite the people again, because now they knew that both sides had the same issue. And if you look at the province map, it's ugly. It is drawn just to be drawn. It's there just to be something that's there. They just quickly drew over it. It was too quick and too dirty when it got established. Lime had a pretty good solution to this, and they begun an operation to move their people outside Purple and move them back up in the north and set them up in a new settlement, in nearby settlements right here that were like actually Neon Lime settlements. People from Purple were happy, and Lime left. Lime left this territory, and no one here was living anymore under the name of Neon Lime. And Purple was actually happy that Neon Lime, finally left this area of the world that they desperately wanted to have for themselves. Purple united this part of their country, and Purple grew with one more province. Now that Beige expanded their borders even more, they wanted to update their provinces, and they again let the Lavender people know, hey, we divide our borders, you still don't want to do that? And the governor was actually sick for not doing that. The governor here really wanted to divide their borders as well. Not like in smaller borders as like this, like what happened here, but more like in 2 or 3 sections. Or maybe even 1. The governor, right here, wants to run this whole area on his own, but still be a part of Lavender. Because the governor here, and here were agreeing on their plan to be a major power. That's what their plan is. They sadly lost Mint in the process, but they can still unite with the 3 parts that they have right now. They operate a pretty great triangle here in the sea. They operate pretty good. They can sail across from Africa to India, but also to Indonesia, and from Indonesia to Africa. They were getting richer and richer again, just because trading with their own territory over and over again. 3 major parts, but with 1 country, but with 3 major differently trades, resources, supplies. So finally, after so long, Lavender took it upon itself to draw provinces, but not how we know provinces in this part of the world. And yes, I still have to update it right here. And it happened. You maybe don't see the difference that much, but it happened. we have 4 major parts of Lavender. And they are all ruling together with 4 governors. But still, one is not more powerful than the other. Well, which 4 do we have? The origin part of Lavender. That's 1. 2 is this little island right here. 3 is the part of Indonesia. And 4, you guess it, is here the part of Africa. Mint doesn't do this at all. They still have just a few governors all over the place. They don't bother about this at all. But we now have 4 provinces here in Lavender. The provinces map is fully updated. The major cities map is fully updated as well. And now we have a world that's looking like this. At last here in Greenland we have a little expansion. And now that they want to sail again, because they have access of this part of the coast, they are trying again. They go west. Now that they have access to this coast right here in Greenland, the western coast, they want to sail towards the east again, to try again what they can find. They sail, they sail, they sail, they deviate a little bit to the north. They go and go and go, and they finally see land. It was a surprise for them, but they set foot right here. They expand a little bit here, and they know we found new land. The gold team is thriving. They find new land after new land. They go up north a little bit to just see what there is here. It's still cold, really cold of course. They go up north and go up north, but then they find something. Something that they never would have thought they would ever find in Canada.